Adam Schiff, a 51-year-old ex-convict, confessed to the brutal murder of 76-year-old Pastor William Sherman, known as Pastor Bill, in New River, Arizona. It was really brutal. It included not only executing the pastor with his own bare hands, but also crucifying him by nailing him to the wall of his own home and putting a crown of thorns on his head, among other religious imagery. I already made a full analysis of this interview on my Crime Coroner channel, so right now I'm going to highlight the 9 most outrageous moments of this interview. The first one is when he openly agrees that he killed Pastor Bill. And let's see if you can spot any body language cues in his face.
Did you kill Pastor Bill Shanneman?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's a long story, but to summarize it, Yahweh alone is God. It's the first commandment. It's the most important commandment of them all.
Yeah, there were basically no emotional reaction when he said those words, that he killed the pastor. It's not until the interviewer asks about the details that he looks down and begins to try to remember how he did it and why he did it. That's something that we are going to see repeated over and over again throughout this very brief recap of this encounter. To make sure that you understand the coldness of this guy talking about how he crucified a priest at his own home, notice his demeanor and behavior describing the murder itself.
And I drove from there to Phil's house, like 2 in the morning on a Sunday night, and I executed him. And then I crucified him by nailing him to the wall.
To be fair, he is not as calm right now as he was when he considered that he had committed the murder. He is a bit nervous, looking to his sides, maybe trying to describe the situation as close as possible to the real thing. But I notice a hint of bragging and passion about what he did, that he's really proud of the thing that he did to the pastor. At the same time, there's a huge dissonance in this murderer. He did an atrocious thing, but he wants to make it seem like it was a merciful killing, like he didn't want it to be bloody or painful. And these are his words that you're about to see. Make sure to spot his body language.
It's fast. I mean, it's, you know, I didn't want it to be bloody. I didn't want it to be a painful. I'm not trying to torture the guy. I just wanted to execute him quickly. So I just put my hand over his mouth and told him to sit still, don't move, and wait until he stopped breathing.
Even with that calm demeanor, you notice that he is delighted on describing those details. The details of waiting until the priest was not breathing. The detail of such a hands-on murder and the way that he describes it. He describes it with passion, and this is the absolute conviction that we see in zealots of all kinds. In this case, a religious zealot. Now, notice that what happens when Brianna says that Pastor Bill was innocent. Can you guess his reaction? Yeah, he is absolutely against the concept that Pastor Bill was innocent.
Pastor Bill was innocent.
Innocent, in your perspective, there's nothing worse.
Not yours.
But there's nothing worse than breaking the first commandment. All you got to do is just worship Jesus and you go to heaven. Your sins are all forgiven. That's not what God said.
So according to him, Pastor Bill was anything but innocent. He deserved what he did to him. There's nothing worse than breaking the first commandment. Maybe he forgot that there's a commandment that says, thou shalt not kill. Maybe he was cherry-picking commandments, depending on what suited his purpose. But at the same time, we have to ask the question if he felt satisfied after doing that. And when he hears that question, he begins to consider the answer this way.
Were you feeling satisfied?
I wasn't, I mean, look, it's not in my heart to go around killing people. Look, he's my daddy. So, you're preaching somebody else is, his son that's not his son. Well, where's Jesus in the Bible?
Notice the way that he arrogantly says, it's not in my heart to go around killing people. I am such a good-hearted boy. I'm the son of God. My daddy, as he calls him, doesn't like people preaching false things, which, by the way, I know this was a huge contradiction. He said that God is all forgiving, all loving. So why couldn't God also forgive the priest preaching bad stuff according to him? That is a faulty reasoning of somebody who has been blinded by his religious beliefs. But just in case, does he have any remorse? The answer might surprise you.
Not only do I have zero remorse, I plan on fulfilling what I started. If my Father puts me in an authoritative position on this earth, I will execute every single priest and burn every church to the ground.
Okay, he not only feels zero remorse, he is pretty sure that God, his daddy, is gonna put him in a position to fulfill what he started. I guess that somehow God is gonna get him out of jail and it's gonna allow him to murder the other 13 priests that he was planning on murdering for some reason. And he talks with some certainty. If it wasn't for the huge swaying back and forth from side to side, you know that the guy is triggered. You know that the guy is nervous and upset. He's not talking with the same calm and collected behavior than at the beginning. He's already very triggered. And he has no qualms about the death penalty. In fact, he welcomes and embraces it eagerly.
I want the death penalty because I want to show you can't kill God's son. That whole story is BS.
Yeah, it seems that somehow he wants the death penalty because that way he is going to send the message that Jesus is not the real Son of God. I don't know how it works, but I guess that in his twisted mind, it works that way. And that's the thing with sociopaths. Sometimes they just need an excuse to fulfill their drive for murder. But I don't think that he looks at himself as a sociopath. In fact, Brianna asks him that exact same question. Do you think you are a monster? And the answer was more terrifying than you can imagine.
Do you think you're a monster?
Do I think I'm a monster? No. I see myself as more of like a saint. I have the plan to rid this earth of evil.
He looks at her with absolute glee and delight. No, I'm not a monster. I see myself as more of a saint. I have a plan to rid this earth of evil. The guy is absolutely convinced. I wouldn't want to be the one sharing a cell with him. I think the clinical term for this is absolutely nuts. But the most important thing for him was, hands down, sending a message. And you can tell by his answer to what you think. What do you think would people feel when they walk into that murder scene? And this was his answer.
Most people that would come into that scene, Bill's murder scene, would be horrified.
Sure,
Horrified.
that's right.
He said the word horrified at the same time as Brianna, and he was really glad and proud and arrogant about that. As in, yes, that was the intention behind the killing. That was the intention behind crucifying him and putting a crown of thorns. I wanted people to be horrified. I wanted people to stop doing what this priest was doing. And that's when you realize that he was absolutely hell-bent on fulfilling this plan. And yes, this is what a sociopathic zealot looks like. Now, I strongly suggest that you watch my whole analysis at my Crime Coroner channel, my new true crime channel that I will dedicate for these cases and more. Check out the link in the description to watch it. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Body Language Guy. Much love and bliss.